Happy New Year, America. But I've got to ask you guys, what the heck is going on over there? How do you guys get the New Year started with two terror attacks on the first day? Like literally on the first day of the New Year, two attacks. And don't get me started on all the conspiracy theories as well. So apparently the exploding Cybertruck guy in Vegas and the car killer in New Orleans both have military experience, and apparently they also rented their vehicles, the vehicles they used in the attacks, from the same company. What? I mean, I was expecting chaos in 2025 because Trump, but what is going on over there? Anyways, you guys know the deal. I already shared 3 reckless predictions for Canadian politics in 2025. Check that out if you haven't already. Now, I have 4 reckless predictions for the United States in 2025. So let's get into it. At number 1, before the end of 2025, I expect there will be mass protests across America. I know, prophecy of doom, right? Yes, the American people overwhelmingly agreed that they wanted a change from what the Democrats have offered in the last 4 years. The American people delivered a loud and clear message in November. The Democrats have become too detached from the voice of the common American. Under their watch, the world is at war, illegal immigrants are pouring in, all while most Americans say they are worse off than they were just 4 years ago, right? So Donald Trump was voted in because an overwhelming majority bought into his hard line on illegal immigration and his foreign policy. You know, the America First approach. Trump has also made no secret of the fact that he intends to reduce or eliminate tariffs and regulation on oil and gas, right? However, I think once those policies start to come forward, especially his plan to deport like 13 million illegal immigrants, policies like forcing Ukraine to come to a settlement on unfavorable terms, no less, with Russia. I think this will happen, by the way, because, I mean, what choice does Ukraine have at this point? So once those start to come down, there will be historic levels of civil unrest, I think, and probably daily protests in major cities across America in 2025. And if you doubt me, just check out how many protests there were in Trump's first term. Remember the Black Lives Matter movement? That was partly, mostly, to be fair, under Donald Trump. There's just something about Trump that just attracts chaos, right? But to be fair, this is the reason the American people voted for him. You guys wanted a shake-up, and I think you will get that shake-up. If it's a shake-up you want, it's a shake-up you'll get. Doesn't mean you're gonna like it though. But speaking of chaos, at number 2, before 2025 is over, I expect Trump will actually reform the federal agencies. So part of Donald Trump's mandate for his second term is to reform federal agencies. Now, I'm not a big fan of a lot of what Trump says or does, especially his newfound love for putting down Canada, my country. But there are parts of his proposed reforms to federal agencies that I can get behind. He's talked about reforming the Justice Department. Personally, I think the Democrats made a mistake in going after Trump as they did. The weaponization of the justice system in that way, I think, was very disturbing to me. That said, I don't trust that any reforms that Trump makes won't just replace one corrupt system with another one. That is maybe something a bit more favorable to his own interests. I'll say this louder for the people in the back. There is a chance that Trump will weaponize the justice system to his own advantage. But beyond that, there is another thing. Trump wants to do the Department of Education like he did abortion rights. Trump basically said he will close up the Department of Education in Washington, D.C. and send all education work back to the states. Okay, see, here's the thing. Here's the thing, right? It was kind of dumb when they did that with abortion rights. I don't think women in a liberal state should have different rights and personal liberties compared to women in a more conservative state. I think that's just chaos, right? Imagine if back in the day before women could vote, imagine someone came up with the clever idea to let the states decide. There's a chance women in certain states would not be able to vote till this day if someone did that shit, right? Because think about it, there's places with really backward mentalities. Anyways, on the abortion thing, I get it. It gets abused a lot. But I think you have to eat that. And those rights should be open to everyone, irrespective of wherever you live. Now, that said, with education, I think we need to let kids be kids. I think the school curricula currently, as it sits currently, over sexualizes children and pressures them to make choices about their bodies, arguably before they're mentally capable. Now, I agree, something needs to be done, but sending it back to the States like this is probably a bad idea. I'll say that. What I think Trump has missed here is that someone needs to set the curriculum. Kids can still be over sexualized on the state level. If anything, I think coming to a consensus on what is acceptable and age appropriate material is the way to go. And if some parents happen to disagree with the material that everybody agrees should be taught on the federal level, on the Department of Education level, they can just put their kids in a private school. Case closed. Anyways, I got sidetracked there. I also expect Trump to seek to renegotiate a lot of trade agreements as well. And he will threaten, maybe even follow through with withdrawing the United States from international organizations like NATO. He's currently playing 4D chess with Canada, you know. We know he just wants to cut a more favorable US-Mexico-Canada agreement. We also know he wants NATO member countries to spend their fair share on defense. Obviously, Canada, as you know, doesn't meet that NATO defense spending quota as we currently stand, right? Anyways, let's move on to number 3. I expect the US dollar will face a global challenge in 2025. Now, we know this is ill-advised, but you just know he'll do it, don't you? He has told you he will do it. Trump has promised sweeping tariffs on imports into the United States. Now, this affects classic enemies like China, but also we know he's looking to use tariffs to manipulate Canada as well. And we're supposed to be friends with this guy, right? So those protectionist tendencies have not really gone down well with BRICS nations. As the reserve currency of the world, the United States has wielded the US dollar as a weapon at times. But beyond that, there's also the inconsistency of the US's position on things. Many countries viewed, for example, the withdrawal from the Paris Agreement in Trump's first term as a bit hypocritical, right? Given their leadership on climate issues. There is also the perceived meddling in countries where Russia or China might view as their sphere of influence. For example, the potential expansion of NATO into Ukraine is partly the reason that region has been in a war. That's the reason they're in a war right now, right? With China, it's about Taiwan. Although, to be fair, there are strategically valued reasons why the United States should never let China take Taiwan. We'll not get into that in this video. Anyways, I tell you all this to say the reason the US is able to throw their weight around as they do is partly because of the dollar. Now, the BRICS nations came together in order to create an alternative, something to erode the influence of the United States in the global markets. So I think 2025 is the year that the BRICS nations finally find a currency alternative to the US dollar. Now, that alternative might even be some sort of digital currency. It seems crazy to imagine, but it's already started. Let me tell you about number 4. At number 4, I expect that there will be a major stock market or crypto market crash in 2025. Now, it's been a while we had a correction in the stock market. I would say the last decent correction we had was in 2022, maybe. Right now, the US economy is outpacing all the other G7 countries. We're all piling into the Magnificent Seven, you know, the big tech stocks. Right now, those big tech stocks, their valuations, as you probably know, are pretty out of whack. Now, the mood is very optimistic in the market. Lots of money has been made in the last 2 years. People are so optimistic, they're buying crypto again. Remember when Bitcoin was cut in half? That wasn't even that long ago, but now we're talking about all-time highs in Bitcoin. Anyways, I think this could be the year that it all comes crashing down. The signs are there, right? I told you about the crazy valuation earlier. We've also seen a rise in average household debt and declining savings rates over the last few years as well. So maybe 2025 is the year that consumers finally prioritize debt repayment over spending money that they don't have. I don't know. You should be doing that anyways, but maybe this is the year. What if Trump flexing the US dollar as I expect him to, what if that erodes the confidence in the US dollar so much so that foreign investors start pulling out of US equities? What if those speculative AI startups you bought in the last 2 years start failing to deliver on their overhyped promises? Obviously, when things are uncertain, we know how that tends to send crypto into a bit of a tailspin, right? So think about 2020, think about 2022. Something like maybe a major hacking scandal wipes out billions in digital or crypto assets. I'm scaring you, I know. Okay. But then again, it could also be a year for crypto. You've got a crypto loving president in office, and I'm talking about Elon Musk. Jokes. I'm joking. But to be fair, Trump loves crypto as well. So maybe I'll be wrong. Believe me, I'm happy to be wrong on this. Honestly, the stock market going down would not be the worst thing. Everybody knows a down market is where the most money is made. If you know, you know, right? Anyways, those were my 4 reckless predictions for the US economy and politics in 2025. Hey, don't take these too seriously, okay? They're reckless predictions after all. So, what I want you guys to do, add yours in the comment section. You guys look into your crystal ball and let me know what you see in the future. It will be nice to come back to this in a year or so and see how many we got right. So, thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you next time. Take care, guys.